All right, let's talk about Starparse. So, first thing in Starparse, first thing you're going to want to do is in your preferences, go to combat logging, it's the third one down in your preferences, and enable. So, notice there's a warning there that you're going to want to manage your disk space. So, this will generate a lot of junk in your hard drive, so you need to go delete it. It's going to seem like a virus. There's so much junk in there, just junk, 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 junk. Literally, every time you log in a new tune, it's going to start making a new file. They're not very big, but eventually you will need to start dumping them files. Okay. Let's go to the website where you get it from. Simple Google search will find it, but I will put the link down in the description. I do not have anything to do with Starparse at all, but if you feel like donating, fine. My videos are not monetized, so I really don't care one way or another whether you donate or don't donate or like or subscribe. I don't care. Okay, let's look at one more thing about this particular website is global statistics. It's pretty cool. It shows you some of the overall averages of who's doing what and how what classes that people are playing. Let me just show you an example here. Vanguard. Uh, do people play Tactics, Advanced Prototype, Plasmatech, or PowerTech? Most people in the game play, as you can see, Plasmatech, PowerTech, and there is a reason for that. It just is what it is, and I can probably guess that this is going to be the healers, scoundrels, commandos, sages. It's a 50-50 split on commandos and sages, but commandos take the cake, and there is a reason for that. And there are very few scoundrel healers, and there is a reason for that as well. So, just an interesting little website there. You can check that out and download that, get that going. Okay, let's open up Starparse, and I will get things fired up. You will need to restart the game, by the way, after you click that logging on. All right, let's look at the overall of Starparse. All right, starting with the window itself is movable. It is as soon as you click into Star Wars, it will go away. Back behind if you only have one monitor. I happen to have two, but it works on two, three, whatever monitors. But it will never maximize, and I think the reason for that is so that you click over here, you're good to go. I don't know, but I'm guessing that that's what it is. It will not maximize though. You have to adjust it however you want it, locate it where you want it, and you can adjust it with the screen. You can also make it dark or light with this button here. I like it dark for a dark room that I'm in, and that's just up to you, however you like it. So let's talk about the um, overlays. Overlays are going to be, I'm going to hit the parse button and it should pull my overlays up. Okay, so my overlays. The overlays I'm going to discuss are only the four you see here and what they're for and not much else. Okay, so number one and pretty much the main one you're going to be using is the personal one. So let's take a look at what the personal one looks like. There it is. You can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, do whatever you like to make it and place it where you want. Don't let this get in your way of your mechanics. I mean, it's great if you're doing numbers and big numbers and nice things, but if you're dead, you do no numbers. So if you like numbers, don't let that get in your way. And that goes for all of the overlays. All right, so I'm going to skip these timers. There's reasons for them, but I'm not going to go into this. It's just too basic. I will talk about some of these other items here. We're going to go to raid damage. Let's talk about raid damage. Actually, no. Let's jump down to healing first because it's more important. Raid healing you might actually need. I'm going to encourage you not to turn these three on at all unless you're the leader and possibly the tank. Do not turn these on, and I will emphasize it over and over again. Possibly if you're healing, but if you're a damage dealer, don't even turn this on. There's no reason for you to turn it on. You don't need it. Just get rid of it. Also, I'll come back to that later. Okay, let's talk about healing. Raid healing. So what I'm going to do right now, and this is not to shame anyone or anything, I'm going to open a log and to show you some of the information that is necessary, and I need it from an actual fight. So because it mined data from everybody in the operation, it's already there. It happened. Just go with it. If you're here, sorry. If you're, I'm not calling anybody out. It's just it is what it is. So let's just go to Bone Thrasher. That's the first fight on Karaga's Palace. If I click trash, you'd show everything. Literally every fight we pulled, you'd see everything that happened and all the fights. Okay, so this is just the boss showing here. This shows all. If you click the trash, um, I want to show you some things about healing. So in your settings, you got to make sure that this is raid healing and not raw healing. Raw healing is a completely different number. It does not mean raw healing really is not the same thing. So if you look through heal, we have completely different raw healing. It's not really that important if you do raw healing. because it means you're overhealing. They didn't need the healing. So you're going to want to do raid healing, not raw healing. That's under overlays and raid healing. Keep in mind, you'll see here that if I click on this, I can't click on anything in here. The overlays always take precedence over everything in Starparse. So you may need to move these after you have closed this window so that you can interact with that window. So raid healing. That's just about it for the raid healing part of it. We're looking at effective healing. We will come back to this raid tab in a minute, but just for the sake of what we're talking about here, I want to show you shielding. Just because um, Ace Christian did 15k effective healing, it does not mean that he also did not do shielding. His shielding was also 86,000 effective. So in actuality, so I was the healer here, the other healer. So I did 14k healing and no shielding. He did 15k and 86,000 shielding. That is amazing. That is amazing right there. Because you're doing shielding and healing. That is 100% effective. So Jargon Sorno, same thing. Look at the shielding. So yes, I did more. This person, Eno Fluffy, happened to do 17k healing, but Ace Christian did 156,000 shielding. This does not count in this raid healing number here at all. Get rid of it. You do not need this at all. Get rid of it. You don't need this number. If you're looking at this, it'll just make you mad. Like it doesn't mean anything. Like these numbers are useless. Get rid of it. Okay? This is the tab you want to go to. Raid. We're gonna come back to this raid later. That's just it's superfluous. Like you don't need that information. It causes confusion. Okay, let's look at the uh, raid hots. Okay, your raid hots, and let me show you just a little bit how they work. I'm going to close Starparse and open it back up, just so that we can see what's going on here. When you have raid hots on, it'll show your heals over time on a player. Where this is very effective is specifically the commando healer. Most of the other healers really will not benefit from this at all, but wherever your raid frame is, it'll kind of show a little glowing whatever, but you have to be in a group for it to show up. So it'll have it in your, you can make this bigger, you can make it more people, more numbers, and you can start moving people around. You can literally grip one of these boxes and move them around. If you've never interacted with a person, it doesn't show up. So once you've set it up how you like it, as long as the frames don't change, most of this will stay the same and stay static. Let me show you a picture real quick of how I set it up in my commando healing, and I'm going to have to close Starparse again because it's getting in the way. So you notice you see some heal over times left over at the end of this fight. But at the very beginning, I would have had 7 on every single individual in the fight. You can actually see as they're taking damage, you can see their heals over time disappear, or you know when to reapply them. Commando healing, when you want to put that, I want to say Kolto Shell, and then the Merc has one similar to it. So that's what those raid hots are really for. The other two healers don't really benefit from that. And remember when I said there is a reason why most people use commandos and sages. The reason why sages on commandos is because of the shielding and that heal over time, and it's just the scoundrel healing is just has no spike healing. Good AOE, no spike healing. Let's move on. Let's see. Um, let's talk about raid damage. All right. Now again, this little interface here, raid damage, turn it off. You do not need your raid damage on. There's no reason for you to have your raid damage on. You don't need it. It's not going to tell you any useful information, except if you're the leader. If you're the leader, and I'm going to open a file here, and you need to split people up to split damage. I was like, okay, we need to burn Jargon Sorno at the same time. So what the raid healer would do is they would see who's doing the most damage and just literally split them up. Like, okay, I need these two over here, I need these two over here, and a little boom, 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 and just split them up how the raid healer wants them split up. But keep in mind, if you are a raid leader and you're doing that sort of thing, you're going to mess up the hot overlays that a healer has done like this. So if you start moving people around, just try to do it once or twice in the entire operation. If you have to, but give the healer time to change these up if you have a commando or healer. If you don't really worry about it because no one else will be using those hot overlays anyway because there's you if you know anything about healing, you can really only effectively track 4 on people for the other kinds of healings, and the shielding is like 4 people, and the little colto probes or whatever they are around people, you can only do 4 anyway. So don't worry about that too much on the healing side for those the other 2. Let's talk about the raid threat table again. This overlay, turn it off. People have the tendency to want to turn it on. Don't turn it on. You have no reason to have that on unless you're a raid lead. Okay? If you want to help the raid lead, say, you can say, let's say, for example, Patton was taunting. I don't even know if he's classic in taunt, but let's see, and he was top of Onula, then that's a problem. Then the raid leader can identify that problem, get rid of it. If you are not the raid leader, get rid of that. You don't need it. What you're going to look for is this tab here, the um, raid tab right here. So you got the overview, you got all these other things here. You're going to want the raid tab. This is, if you want to see intelligent information, you go to the raid tab. And what you'll see in the raid tab is percentages. So you'll see this number here over here, percentages. It's kind of off the screen, though. Percentages. Now, every single one of these fights, so I can't show you the numbers, and I'm fine with that. I don't really want to show the numbers anyway, so I'm kind of glad about that. This number will tell you if you're in the 90th percentile for your class. So this one here, let's take this one for example, infiltration, combat rank, combat too short, not ranked. But this person might be in the 90th percentile. This is what you're looking for, this number. For you to get better, you are looking for you personally against the rest of the world. How good are you percentile with your class? It is your class versus your class, not a number versus a number. So if you're a numbers monkey and like, well, I personally know that Patton Panzer would never do this, but I'm going to use an example. Like, I top DPS. I did the top DPS. Who cares? You use Serenity. It is literally the top DPS in the game. He would never do that. I'm just saying an example. Um, what Patton would want to do, though, is analyze the numbers here to see if he's in the percentile with the rest of the world. That's where the intelligent information comes in. That's why these numbers are junk to anybody except the raid leader. So that's for you personally. And let's say you're playing telekinetics. Let's just say you're a telekinetics player. Man, I only did 23k. I want to do 26k. It's your class. Like, it probably is your class. Your class, you can. There's ways to determine, like, hey, this class is just not going to do as good. I mean, that is very good for uh, a telekinetics on this particular fight. And the way you know that is its percentage when the combat is a little bit shorter. And you know what I see right here? I see this combat was so short that it finished so fast the rankings couldn't happen. That means everybody did a great job. Good job. Move along. Okay. I'm going to come back to the screen one more time and for a different reason and with a different load. All right. Timers. Let's look at timers. So I'm going to close Starparse completely and open it back up to clear out all that data because it's not going to be important for anything else that we're talking about. In the interface here, you've got a thing called timers. I'm sorry, yeah, timers right here, timers. I have a few of my custom ones. There are some built-in ones already, and you can look at them and analyze what they're doing, but let's look at the timer specifically for if you want to build your own. So for me, I have one called Sever Force. In the settings, you can see that I have a bunch of data in here for Sever Force. It is name, effect loss, the source, I am the source, the target, any other target at all. This is the ability name. This is the key. This is what you're looking for, ability and effect. So in this instance here, Disquiet, this is the name. This does not matter. I know it's Disquiet, but that's for the boss on the final boss on R4 Anomaly, Lady Dominique. She does this thing called Disquiet. That's the name of that boss. This is the effect gain. The source is this is the source. This is the ability, and this is the effect. So these are the important things. The source is not really that important, but the ability and the effect is very important. You can just click other there. So let's see how you mine that information. It's a very useful tool for some custom things. So if I'm going to put Sever Force on this target here, pop some Sever Force, and we're going to go open Starparse back up because I closed it and I don't know why. We're going to see an interesting thing to find out how to get the data mined. So we're going to go to combat log, and you see all this information. This is the
I'm sorry.
one move that I did. Of all of this is the information that came from this one exact move. So it's a lot of data, a lot of junk in there, a lot of stuff going on. So I'm going to look specifically at Sever Force. Any one of these will have it. Right click it, show details. Source, not really important. Target, not really that important. I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. Yes, it is important. I'm looking for the operations dummy. Start this one here, sorry. So operations dummy, that was the one more, sorry, let's go here. There it is. Alright, source, myself, target, dummy, sever force, damage, internal. These three are what you're looking for. You're looking for sever force and this number and this number. Okay? This is why. If you go into your settings here and your timers, sever force, there's your ability, there's your effect. Okay, one more time. We're going to go to ability, effect. That's where you mine those numbers from. You right click and do it. Show details. Ability, effect. Here it is, show details. Ability, effect. Ability, effect. Those are the most important items. That big fat long number is data that the game is uploading to Starparse to read for everything. Those big fat numbers. So what I've got here is an overlay, not overlay, a timer that's specific to Sever Force. So I PvP a lot, and I want to make sure I know when Sever Force falls off somebody without watching. So watch, I could actually watch it happen. See, but in PvP, there's so much going on, I can't go find who has Sever Force and who doesn't. I need to know that it fell off so that I can keep doing what I'm doing. And so as soon as it falls off, I have a timer set that
I'm
says
sorry.
sound. Let's see, Sever Force sound. Where's the sound? Sever Force sound and sound chat. Amidala. I'm sorry. So there's a lot of things you can pick in here. I have another one here for taunt. Akbar, it's a trap. He will yell at me, it's a trap, if I've been taunted. So if I'm under the effect of taunt, I can do effect gain taunt, and I know the ability's name taunt and taunt. I know that's what the ability is. But if you go and dig around and find that data, you can mine it and actually put the data in here to find out what that is, so that you know that you are. I'm sorry. This is if I've taunted someone else. I apologize. This is if I taunted someone else. If I taunted someone else, then I know, and when it falls off, Akbar tells me it's a trap. Here's a really good one here. Disquiet, same thing. Amidala says, hey, I'm sorry, you got it on you. Or alert or alarm or whatever you want to put. Hey, you've got that on you. You need to get out of the group. You need to drop that somewhere else. The big grenade, the big grenade on ICPT, whatever his name is, on the first boss on R4 Anomaly. If there's so much cloud, so much going on, I can actually hear, hey, you've got this. Akbar says it's a trap to me. I know that I have it, so I run out of the group. I know it's me. 100% I know it's me. So I turn that timer on, and I've built it by myself, by mining that data. Same thing, show details, effect, and ability gained. So that's an advanced strategy to try to help yourself out. Again, this is a tool for you. This is not for someone else, not for you to shame anybody else. I don't want you using this tool for that. Please don't. It's probably terms of harassment. You're breaking rules of harassment if you harass other people. So what I do use this for is I loaded the battle we just did. I will go and find out who did the most damage, and I'm like, man, how do I do that? So there's a couple ways to do that. So you can go to your combat log and say all sources, change that. I want to see Pat Panzer, man, he just did mega damage, and then whoa, okay, all this information. Too much, too much, too much, too much. All right. So you could go through here and figure it all out, or you can upload it. And just for the sake of respecting everyone else's privacy, you can go to upload and you can say private. Now this data means you cannot see it if you don't click on this hyperlink right now. You really need to do it right now. You upload to Parsley, and then you go to that website that it hyperlinks. Boom, brings it up. You can see even more data. What's really cool about this, I'm not going to show people's rotations or anything like that, but I'm going to show you the replay. This is so cool. This is Foreman Crusher, for example. You'll note, and I can't zoom in, but you'll note that you've got, I guess I'm going to zoom in. Okay, you'll note that the tank, Anula, was standing right here when the battle started. This is the starting point, and all the other DPS are right here. And it looks like all the DPS that were here were doing what they were told, because he told them to the combat leader, told them to stand here. Most of them are here. Some are out here. That's fine. They just took a little damage, got knocked back or something. Maybe they used cheese. I don't know. But this is where you want to be for this opening fight. I think I was even out there. Look at that. I was out there. Opening the fight, you want to be starting there, okay? So, we're going to start the fight off. You can watch what happened the entire time. What did we do wrong? What did we do right? Oh, yeah. People hiding, those three did not hide. That's why they got knocked back. Now you jump out. You can actually see what happened and who's casting what and when. So cool. You can actually watch what's going on. You can see when things are dying. When what's going. Like, man, why did we lose aggro? Where were people positioned? So for me, first thing I see is there's too many people far out here. That's the first thing I see. How are you going to effectively heal them if they're standing way out here? Kind of bunch up a little bit and maybe put one person on the edge, maybe like a sage or a sork, really far away, maybe a gunslinger real far out there, and they can like make those range things. You got 4 ranged out there. That's good. That's good in a healer. Okay, so now you got some spreading. It's just really neat to watch this stuff go on. Okay. Um, let's talk about that's good. That's about all we need for that. Um, there is another thing that happened earlier on in the fight where we did an accidental pull. We were still talking and stuff. You can see something in raid, and it should show up deaths if it still is here. There's only one place where anyone died, and I don't see it. So uh, you can find out what you died to, which is very cool. That you know exactly what you see. It was after, just before Foreman Crusher. And I can't find it, so I guess we're not gonna talk about it. Basically, there's a little bar up here that says deaths, and oh, I'm not in a raid. That's why. There it is, death. There it is, right there, death. So you can see what did a person die to? Why did they die? How did they die? So Anula, let's see what he died to. Of lack of healing. Obviously, it was lack of healing. But in specific attacks, you can find out what did they actually die to. So under the raid, again, your most important tab, raid, you can find out why they died. This is the only time anyone died in the entire raid, and that you can find out what they died to. What was the effect? Show details, effect, and type. So, sorry, not type. Attack and damage. Ability effect. That's what you're looking for. So you can mine that data and find out this is what I died to, how did I die to it, and make your own timer when effect gain. All right. I believe there's only one more thing I want to address. Apologize, this has gone a little long. This is kind of basic, but at the same time, there are some complicated things going on. Okay, so parsing. When you start to Starparse, when you want to Starparse, one of the things you're going to want to do is put this dumbing reduction on there. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put this dummy and make the and generally a 10K is what counts for good stuff. But if you're just practicing your rotation, 2 million is fine. 2 million is fine. You don't need a 10 million. Like, oh, I did this. It's who cares? Nobody cares. Just practice your rotation. And I like 2 million because it's an end. Like it's a means to an end, and I got to the end, and after 2 million damage, it's over. 3 minutes, I'm done. I can go move on to something else in my life. Okay, so I want you to keep in mind that when you put this training reduction module on there, your damage is automatically going to do more than any world boss or fight or whatever. This is why. Vanquish, for example, does vulnerable onto the target. That's a great thing. Vulnerable is applied to the target. That means all of my force attacks do 5% more. You can read the little tooltip down there. Force attacks do 5% more. I do not have assailable. I'm going to go spec this assailable right now. But if you read this here, it says shifted balance applies assailable to its target, increasing internal and elemental damage it takes by 7%. That means when I do any kind of dot, 7% more damage. So that's a good thing. What happens is this puts it on automatically. I do not have on this character Sunder. Not going to happen. I don't have it. There's no way for me to apply Sunder. This does it for me. So when you're opening up with your Giga Chad openers on a boss, these are not applied beforehand. But it is applied beforehand on the operations dummy. So your damage will always be higher on a dummy, no matter what. Not just because of mechanics, but because you're missing a bunch of the debuffs that are applied to the boss. So go ahead and remember that don't be disappointed that your damage is lower. It's because you don't have a saleable in your group. You literally will do 7% less damage for your dot classes. Maybe you don't have a vulnerable. Like maybe you just don't have vulnerable in your class. I have no idea. Certain classes apply certain things. but this debuff does everything. So keep that in mind when you're parsing. The numbers you're looking for, just do what you like. I mean, if you're doing 20K, you're doing great. That's amazing. If you're not doing 20K, just try to copy somebody's rotation. How do you do that? So what I'm doing right here is I'm just doing this a little rotation. I'm a clicker. I'm a clicker. That's what I do. Sue me. So what I'm doing here is I don't even know what this is going to be, but you can watch my damage rise, however it's going to do. And I do this forever. This is an actual hard rotation that I do even in playing in the game because I'm mobile. It's not the perfect rotation, but I'm mobile while I'm doing it. And this is not an instruction on how to use this class. I've got other videos about that and why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's not important. The important thing is um, what am I doing to do what I'm doing? How do I make this happen? And how can I steal this? So I steal people's rotations all the time because I love them and I want to be better. I want to do better. I go to the raid tab to find that information out, and then I take that information, upload it to Parsley, and then I look at it. And I'm about to do that now after I've probably could have done this during the some of the explanations, but it's okay. Just fast forward the video. I don't care. Alright, so let's go to Starparse now, and I was not parsing, so let's hit parse that entire time. I did 27K for this particular run, and how did I do it? So let me go to my interface, and I need to get some things out of my way over here. Turn my raid hots off. Alright, so in my raid tab, I can go upload, selected combat, upload, private or not, I don't care. I mean, do whatever you want for your own stuff, but private means it's for that one time only. And there's sign-in stuff. I'm not going to address that. Okay, so how did the person do this? How did the person do that kind of damage? So what I would do is I'd go look at the rotation, like how did they do what they did? In this case, because I know about this class, I'm going to set this to 4 speeds. Now let's do Force. There we go. Force. Okay. So I did an opener. That's fine. But this is where the rotation starts. So it's this exact rotation over and over and over and over again until the end of time. That's what I do. That's how I make it happen. And you can steal people's rotation like that. I do it all the time. I steal people's rotation. This is simple. Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These all together. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 buttons in a row and start over. 11 buttons in a row, start over. Over and over, forever. And that's how you can grab other people's rotations and see how they're doing whatever they're doing. I don't know why that was 27K. Normally it's in the 29K range, but sometimes 30. Does not matter. Again, literally doesn't matter. The important thing is your raid tab. Your raid tab. When you go to your raid tab and you see what your percentage to other people, that's what you're looking for. That is your magic number. Raid tab percentage to the world. Let's see, did I miss anything? I gotta check my notes. I forgot to refer to my notes for the entire thing. I did this all ad-libbing. I think that's it. I think that's everything. If you have any questions, put them in the comments, and I will do what I can to answer them. And I will catch you later.